As you heard, that was earlier. The mission is can Tony Schumacher take back that #1, which he's already done one time this weekend. This brings us now to Doug Coletta and Larry Dixon, one of four-time winners of the Gatornationals. Names that include Joe Amato, Tony Schumacher, and some guy named Big Daddy Don Garland. That guy you love, the large father.
Lives down the road in Ocala, Florida. Matter of fact, he was the guy who had low ET at the first Gatornationals, a 650 with a 9, which would put you #2 in pro stock this weekend.
Good stuff. Dougie, of course, the defending champion, won over Antron Brown a year ago. Oh! Whoa! Hold on!
Ooh.
Big-time crash. Dixon's car comes apart. Amazingly, everything stays inside Dixon from a high altitude back down on planet Earth. Dixon moving inside of that race car. That's the owner, Bob Vandergrift, Mark Lyle. It's a gut check moment for an owner, gut check moment for the fans, gut check moment for Larry Dixon. But the visor's up. It looks like LD is going to be able to climb out of this. Best news you could possibly ask for.
You know, and unfortunately, this is not the first time that this has happened to Larry Dixon.
Flashback to Memphis.
Looked like the car just came apart. It was on a pretty good pass, and
NHRA Safety Safari quick on the scene. Everybody going to take their time here. A very scary incident. Want to make sure LD has got all his senses about him. Don't have any injuries, especially in the back area. That Memphis crash back in 2000 looked almost identical to that in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it was in the final round against Gary Selzy. Gary smoked the tires. It looked like Larry was going to win, and the car basically just broke in half and went flying through the air, and he lost the race because the car obviously went across the center line. But as you said, luckily in that incident, Larry was A-OK, and hopefully that'll be the case in this one.
We definitely see him moving in there, but the NHRA Safety Safari's not taking anything for granted. You see the jaws of life that are there. They're going to probably cut the top of that race car off and make sure that Larry doesn't have any injuries that could be exacerbated if he climbed out of the car on his own. You hear the cheer from the crowd as Alan Reinhardt, the public address announcer, tells everybody right now things appear to be good. It's still precautionary. They're going to take him out very slowly.
You talk about the precautionary procedure. It's different from back in the day when I drove. You know, we would jump out of the car. They do not allow you to do that. They want you to make sure that everything is fine, make sure you know everything's working, extremities, make sure they can get you out of the car safely. It's a little bit different procedure, which is actually better than the way we did it back in the day.
LD sliding the hat on, telling everybody, you know what, I think I'm going to climb out of this thing. Mouthpiece comes out, taking things in, but again, a very scary incident. There was some altitude involved there. Normally we're land-based machines. We do not like to take to the sky. They're bringing a stretcher just in case. LD is out, the hand is up. Oh, that's a goosebump moment. Whew. So as everybody catches their breath right now, we'll put LD on the stretcher there. Definitely going to take a look at him to make sure he's got nothing going on. In fact, it looks like maybe the stretcher's even going away. Now, and only now, can we look back at a very scary episode.
Right side of your screen, he was running 285 miles per hour at the 8th mile. Just past that, you saw the front of the car just break off and send that thing flying. That tells you how much pressure on those wings to keep that car planted, because once that basically goes away on the front of the car, look at that thing just take off. Rear wing just bends it as it breaks in the center of that thing and sends it flying in the air. Wow.
Larry Dixon had to be at altitude for 300-400 feet. Car moving it well in excess of 270 miles an hour at the 660 speed trap. Excuse me, 285.
That's what was having problems himself in the other one. Center line could have been bad. Looked like he just barely avoided some of the pieces there too. Wow.
And at this point, LD is along for a ride. The best
there you go.
thing we can show you is that right there. He's a tough customer. He's been through this before. But LD is out of the car, and for Bob Vandergrift, yeah, breathe a huge sigh of relief. Of course, the best part about all of this, all of that safety equipment, things we sometimes can take for granted, was all in place, did its job, and has allowed Larry Dixon to walk away. John Kernan.
Certainly good news to see Larry get out of the car and with his owner, Bob Vandergriff. And Bob, as a former driver, what goes through your mind when you see something like that?
It's just terrible to watch, you know. Like I said, it's tougher for me sitting outside of the car being the team owner. You know, I feel responsible for that guy driving that race car, and for that to happen to him under my watch, it's not a good feeling, you know. Not sure what happened with that car. Obviously broke in the front foot box. You know, we're pretty meticulous on checking those cars every day after every run, so, you know, unless it was just a catastrophic failure, it's pretty disappointing to see that. But I'm just glad Larry's okay. We got more race cars back at the shop. Most important thing is that he's all right.
Thanks, Bob.
That's a fact. Parts you can replace, people you cannot. So just a few moments ago, to recap a very intense, a very scary episode involving the three-time Top Fuel champion Larry Dixon. His plane reservation was for Monday. Just a few moments ago, he took to the friendly skies. We will give you a moment of pause as you watch Larry Dixon get out of the race car. And when we come back to the Amalie Motor Oil Gatornationals, we'll have an opportunity to check in with LD and continue racing at Auto Plus Raceway.